What is up, everyone? This is Juicy Hockey with Gordo, aka 2 Minutes in the Box with Gordo. I'm your host, Gordon Maxwell. Today, we're going to be talking about recapping our playoff games last night, who survived, who died. And we're going to be talking about tonight's games, the Norris Trophy candidates, the uncertain futures of certain coaches, and Shane Doan. Let's talk about last night first. So, the Toronto Maple Leafs survived against the Boston Bruins. Is this a surprise? Is this a sequel? No, I'm not surprised that Toronto survived the Boston Bruins. The Boston Bruins have struggled to close games out as of recently since last year, 2 years ago, and beyond when they lost to the Cup Finals to the St. Louis Blues 5 years ago. It's no surprise. The Boston Bruins, they are suffering PTSD. They're having nightmares over and over again on the same subject over and over again. And the Bruins, I don't think they're going to survive. Toronto's got the momentum. Woll played very well last night. Matthew Nyes, the Arizona boy, flourished well. He and John Tavares, helped out on that part. And I wouldn't be surprised this goes to 7 now. Toronto is alive. And I bet that this will get things kicking. This is like Florida, Boston all over again last year. And I would not be surprised this will be a Game 7 classic. And will the Toronto Maple Leafs finally win a series against the Boston Bruins for the first time since 1959? My hint's going to be yes. If it happens, it happens. Toronto is ready, and then they got to be playing against the Florida Panthers all over again. And will there be a surprise? No. And Boston, to me, they just played just sloppy and average. They were just embarrassingly sloppy. And I got to say, the broadcaster, Jack Edwards, criticizing the referee for tackling, Brad Marchand. I mean, come on, what a homer. Don't! Yeah, what a homer he is, I mean, and also the way the guy's been behaving in the broadcast booth, very unprofessional, and he's retiring. Good riddance. Who cares? The guy is a has-been and the biggest one-sided broadcaster I've ever seen in broadcast and sports history. But yeah, I gotta say that was a great comeback by Toronto, and Toronto looks alive, and they have the keys now. The momentum is on their side, and the Maple Leafs will be taking it to Game 7. Game 6, I believe it will be a close battle, but Toronto is ready. And last night, Nashville survived a scare against the Vancouver Canucks. Canucks had a 3-1 lead, and the Canucks, they blew their opportunity. Nashville redeemed themselves. I'm not surprised. Shawshank Redemption, and I believe Nashville will make a lot of noise, at Bridgestone, this weekend, and they will be rocking. And the Predators, they are going to take this to 7. That's no surprise. And don't forget Vancouver's, reputation in the playoffs for the last 15, 20 years in first round. They blew leads, they blew opportunities, and I see this is going to go to 7 as well. Nashville is ready, they're built, and I got to give credit to, their goaltending and their back end and all-around game. And, I like watching these two Norris Trophy candidates between Quinn Hughes, the captain of the Canucks, and Roman Josi, the captain of the Nashville Predators. Those two, I mean, this is a very underrated matchup, and I gotta say, it's a very good series so far. Very underrated. That's a crime. And I want to talk about last night with the New York Islanders and the Carolina Hurricanes. It was no secret. Carolina, they were the better team. They won that series fair and square in 5. It was over from the beginning, and it happened again. 2 quick goals in 8 or 9 seconds. The second time it's happened this series. Carolina's quick to the punch, and there's a reason why they are the favorites, the best on favorites to win the Stanley Cup this year. And we're going to get to that future of Rod Brind'Amour and certain uncertainty of the Carolina Hurricanes. And I say this, that was a fun game for the Carolina Hurricanes. And the Islanders, they got to have a lot of retooling in the offseason. They need to get some goal scoring up front. And, I would love for them to keep Clutterbuck and Matt Martin. They're the core of the fourth line. And it would suck to see those guys leave. It would be a heartbreaker to see Matt Martin and Cal Clutterbuck leave. And they need some goal scoring up front. And they need to revamp the blue line. And Sorokin could be on the trade block, and I wouldn't do it. You need to have two stellar goalies, your 1A and your 1B. You need goaltending to be a very good team in the NHL. Speaking of goaltending, what a disappointment for Connor Hellebuyck. Second straight year, you win game one, and then you lose 4 straight. What a disappointment for the Winnipeg Jets. And the Colorado Avalanche, they just blew them away. And it was no mercy, They swept the leg and they showed no mercy. And, Cal McCarr and McKinnon, they did well in this series. And, everyone all around for the Avalanche did well. The Jets, on the other hand, they've had somewhat of a good fight, in game 5, but they just couldn't seal the deal. In Colorado, don't forget, 2 years ago, they won a Stanley Cup, and they had all the resources all around them. And we all know who they're going to be playing next. And it's going to be either they play, Dallas or Vegas at this point. And then you've got LA and Edmonton coming up tonight. That's going to be an interesting matchup. Like I said, we're going to see a very unique second round of the playoffs. We are going to see a very unique matchup. And like I said, we're going to look forward to see, on Thursday, we're going to see if Toronto can survive against Boston. And then tonight, we'll be recapping that. Overall, these matchups are going to be fun to watch. And we'll be right back after these messages, everyone. All right, we are back here. And we're going to be talking about tonight's games on the Doctrine. First up, we've got a tied series between the Vegas Golden Knights and the Dallas Stars. Who do I think is going to win the series for this game tonight? So you got Dallas at -155, Vegas at +130. This is going to go back and forth. I believe this is going to go to 7. And my honest prediction, I'm going to go with Dallas. I know Aiden Hill is going to be starting for Vegas tonight. Dallas, they got what it takes, and they're on a roll. They've won 2 in a row, and it's the ball's in their court. Let's just say Dallas has got the necessary. They're on fire right now. I believe the Dallas Stars will make this a 1-goal, 2-goal game. I wouldn't be surprised if this goes to overtime. And, this is a good rivalry, very underrated. You've got Pete DeBoer, who is the former Vegas coach, now with Dallas, and then you got Bruce Cassidy. Both smart, brilliant minds behind the benches. I believe this will be another 1-goal matchup between those two. And then we've got a potential elimination game tonight between the LA Kings and the Edmonton Oilers. Yeah, I got to say, Edmonton played their minds out the other night, 1-0, very close niche, and it's the 3rd straight year. And are we going to be seeing the Oilers going back to the second round of the playoffs? Again, this is the 3rd straight year we're seeing this. I'm going to say yes. The Oilers will close the series out against LA. And the Oilers, they've got the firepower. I mean, LA, they retooled. They've been impressive. They've been unique, but I don't see them seeking, a comeback. And I like the way the Oilers have been playing so far in the series. And their goal and Skinner's been playing well, and he's got to stand on his head. Whoever they play against next, they got to do the job right. And like I said, I'm very excited to see these two teams play against each other tonight. And here's a scenario of a what if. If the Vegas Golden Knights or the Dallas Stars win their series, they will be playing against the Colorado Avalanche. And I'll say this, it will be a battle like no other. And I like the Dallas and Vegas matchup better because Dallas and Colorado. I like their matchup. It's a great rivalry, and and it would be fun to see the two previous Stanley Cup champs of Vegas and Colorado Avalanche, and either or, it would go to 6 or 7 games at this point. That's how I see it. And then if whoever the Oilers play against, if it's Vancouver or Nashville, it's going to be fun either way. It's going to be fun either way for that matchup. And we all know, the Hurricanes, they don't have to change their flight patterns and flight plans anyway. They're staying in New York. They're going to be playing against the Rangers. And I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be doubting this. I believe this will go to 6 or 7 games. The Rangers are going to have a handful against Carolina. Carolina is an intense physical team, and I believe that their goaltending is better, slightly better. Carolina will be a dangerous team to play against the New York Rangers. And whoever Florida plays against, Florida will be, a dominant, dangerous team. Oh, yeah. And and if I had to pick a side who's going to be more intriguing to watch in the second round, I like the Eastern Conference. And you may all know that the NHL Stanley Cup playoffs, every matchup is unique and fun to watch. And overall, I see that the East is going to feast over the West. And the West, I know the West has got the best. I mean, it's a draw, to be honest. It's a draw. It's basically this. We're dead even. The matchups are fun. The ratings are up. And ESPN and TNT, they've done a terrific job with the Stanley Cup coverage so far. And we'll be right back after these messages. We are back. We are here talking about our 3 Norris Trophy finalists: Quinn Hughes of the Vancouver Canucks, Cal McCarr of the Colorado Avalanche, and Roman Josi of the Nashville Predators. All 3 of these guys are still in the playoffs in Western Conference, and their point totals are just phenomenal. And whoever wins this will be a matchup for the ages, and the winner is going to be the stats are very impressive. And I'm looking at them right now. You've got Quinn Hughes with 82 games played, 17 goals, 75 assists, 92 points. That's impressive. We're witnessing somewhat of a poor man's recreation or reincarnation of Bobby Orr, Brian Leetch, Paul Coffey, Chris Chelios, Zdeno Chara, whatever, but very unique right there. Cal McCarr had 77 games played with 21 goals, 69 assists, 90 points. And then Roman Josi, 82 games played with 23 goals, 62 assists at 85. Those are great candidates right there. And, I love watching Nashville and Vancouver play against each other. That's a fun matchup. It's very underrated. You got 2 great Norris Trophy candidates at each other. And that's why I'm saying it's going to go to 7. And it will be a very close call for calling this out. And, I know Cal McCarr, he's already won it. He's got the Stanley Cup already. He's got everything. Roman Josi, he's been to the Cup Finals. He's been there. And Quinn Hughes, this is, you've got 2 captains and an assistant captain. This is going to be a fun Norris Trophy. And it's going to be right down to the wire. Whoever goes deep in the playoffs, whoever goes deep, they will win the Norris. But these guys, it's tough to predict and write down who you're going to vote for. I like all 3 of these guys, but as I said it before, I'll say it again. It will come down to the wire. Whoever goes deepest in the playoffs or who's had a better all-around game in this regular season and playoffs, doesn't matter how deep you go, they will win the Norris Trophy for the 2023-24 NHL Defenseman of the Year. Yeah, I really like Roman Josi, great leader, natural born. It's funny. I went to high school with his wife, Ellie Ottaway, and she's a very nice girl. She's very wonderful to be around, very humble, and Roman's awesome to be around, and they're a great family, and they know. And I'll say this, Roman's got the best talent out of all of them. He's got the better all around game, but Cal McCarr, he's got the skating wheels of Bobby Orr. Like he's I gotta say he's one of the best skating defensemen I've seen since Scotty Niedermayer. And then Quentin Hughes. Quentin Hughes, he's like Brian Leach out there. Like he is one of those unique defensemen out there. Like his IQ's through the roof, and he can actually be a forward as well. And years ago, I gotta say this, I want to say Cal McCarr, like I thought he was gonna be a bust because I don't know where he played his junior hockey. I was like, who? And then you never judge somebody. You never judge somebody where they came from and where they played. And and Cal McCarr made me into a believer and made me into a fan. And he is a game-changing defenseman and a game-changing player. And any of these guys can actually be like like a Pete Maravich or an Allen Iverson point guard leader type of guy. I mean, they've got moves, they got swagger, and like I said, it will be a close matchup. And we'll be right back after these messages. We are back. So we were talking earlier about the uncertainty future of certain coaches. And the Carolina Hurricanes, they have finally found their coach, but do they have the budget to keep Rod the Bod Brind'Amour? Rod Brind'Amour is one of the best coaches out there in today's game. High IQ, great teacher. The energy is there. He's in better shape than most of the players on the Hurricanes and throughout the organization and throughout the league. This guy competes in triathlons. He rides the bike. He rides the bike 5 times longer than anybody in the weight room. And Rod Brind'Amour, we have all heard that, yesterday I spoke that he is in talks of a new contract with the Carolina Hurricanes. And if I were Carolina, I would give the man anything he wants. I know Carolina is a mid-sized, small market, but get the man a contract. He's the reason why the Hurricanes have made the playoffs every single year because of him. And he deserves every penny. He deserves every penny. I'm saying this. Rod Brind'Amour deserves a contract extension, Mr. Dundon. Get him a deal ASAP. I mean, get him a deal done right now. Hell, we just heard that John Cooper of the Tampa Bay Lightning got a brand new contract extension just an hour ago. An hour ago. I mean, come on. Cooper just did it, no problem. He's a lawyer too. You got to get it done. Carolina Hurricanes need to get their coach, Rod Brind'Amour, a contract extension before they lose out on him going to the Seattle Kraken, because his former teammate, Ron Francis, has got a huge ownership group for the Seattle Kraken, could be writing a $10.5, maybe $11 million contract extension to get him, Rod Brind'Amour, to become the next Seattle Kraken coach. I mean, I got to say, that's juicy right there, people. That is juicy intel right there. Seattle Kraken is willing to pay $12 million to Rod Brind'Amour become the next Seattle Kraken coach if the Carolina Hurricanes do not re-up him. And we all heard Mike Sullivan might be going to the New Jersey Devils once he moves on for the Pittsburgh Penguins, because Sully and Fitzgerald have had a long relationship. And Sheldon Keefe, he's going to go to the Pittsburgh Penguins if the Toronto Maple Leafs lose. And I'm saying this, it's all on the line here, people. It's all on the line. And we're going to see a very interesting way of, how the Carolina Hurricanes are going to overcome this adversity and distraction. And like I said, Rod Brind'Amour deserves a big payday. And I got to say also, for the Carolina Hurricanes, give a payday to the trainers, equipment staff, and especially the broadcasters. Especially I got to give a shout out to my man, Trip Tracy. He deserves a payday. Payday, Mayday, come on. Carolina's on the uprise. And there's a reason why they are the favorites to win the Stanley Cup, is because that culture has changed forever. And I say this for all. Carolina Hurricanes are ready to win the cup, and they need to keep their coach on a long-term leash and a long-term contract extension. And we'll be right back after these messages. We are back. All right. I know I've been saying, like, I felt so sorry for the Arizona Coyotes organization. Yeah, I know, kicking dead horse, beating a dead horse, whatever. But I got to say this. Shane Doan deserves better. Several years ago, after Shane Doan, he played his whole entire career with the 1.0 Winnipeg Jets and the Arizona Coyotes. And he was there from day one. And then he got kicked to the curb by John Chaika, and then some young kid thinks he could change the game with his mind and all that stuff. And, kicking a guy to the curb, kicking Shane Doan to the curb like that was total BS. And now that we've heard reports that Alex Merlo's son kicked Shane Doan to the curb, said, quote, I don't think he's ready for upper management. And Shane Doan had the right to leave, was right to leave, because he saw the writing on the wall for the franchise, and the Coyotes are going to Utah because of it. And, Shane Doan deserves better. He's the most loyal player, humble human being. And he's like the Gordie Howe. He stayed with one team for 20 plus years. And, Gordie Howe gave his heart and soul to the Detroit Red Wings. And, Bruce Norris is an incompetent owner who kicked him to the curb and gave him a meaningless job role for the Detroit Red Wings. And he wasn't happy about it. And Steve Eisner, and I'll say this, Gordie Howe said, to Bruce Norris, he wanted to play with his sons. And he told Bruce to go, F yourself. And, Bruce Norris had a reputation of destroying things. He destroyed the Red Wings dynasty by firing his sister. And there was a lot of heat. And there was a reason why the Red Wings haven't won anything for 42 years, because how Bruce Norris treated the players and all that stuff. He treated Gordie Howe like it was nothing. And Gordie Howe gave 25 years to the Red Wings organization. That was awful what Bruce Norris did. And, Gordie Howe proved him wrong. Age is just a number. And Gordie Howe, thanks to his wife, Colleen, Bruce hated Colleen. Bruce Norris hated women. And I'll say this, Colleen got Gordie back into the game to play with Mark and Marty. And they got 2 AFCO Cups playing with the Houston Aeros of the World Hockey Association. Gordie got to play with his sons and got to play another year in the NHL in 1979-80 with the Hartford Whalers. And, what Alex Merlo did to Shane Doan was unforgiving. And Shane Doan, he's the one laughing now because he's more successful. And I wouldn't be surprised that he comes back and runs an NHL team his way. I wouldn't be surprised he's going to be the owner of the new Arizona Coyotes team. He's a smart man. He's humble. He's got every tools necessary to bring in a new NHL team. And, to John Chaika and Alex Merlo Jr., you two are the most despicable human beings that ever entered the Arizona Coyotes franchise. And Shane Doan is loyal, humble, and he is a builder and a warrior. And you two guys are just incompetent. John Chaika, the reason why you didn't make it, because you made so many illegal things happen with the this unheard of training combine, in the middle of the season. Illegal. And Alex Merlo, you never done anything in your life. You just sat there and let daddy do everything for you. It's just ridiculous to see that, you push a guy who's played about 1,500 something games in the NHL, and he's been there since day one. Just unforgiving. And Shane Doan is going to have the last laugh, because he's going to get a Stanley Cup before you two guys will ever make it back into the show. And Shane Doan, he will be back in the NHL, not besides the Leafs, whatever. He'll be back owning the Arizona Coyotes 2.0. And I'm all wild up because, that's bad juice right there that they gave him. That was just pure bad juice. And Shane Doan deserves better. He is a first-class citizen, and he's Arizona's greatest sports athlete ever. And you kick him to the curb like that. Just despicable. Unbelievable. Just disgusting. And if I were you, Alex Merlo, get the land deal done and then and build the arena and then just get the hell out of the way and let the real businessmen run the hockey operations and hockey back in Arizona. I'd like to thank everybody with my audience and my sponsors and my co-hosts and all. We'll be back with tomorrow to recap our 2 games tonight, and we'll be back tomorrow. Have a great day, everybody.